The views expressed by the guests aren't necessarily the opinions of the Sword to the Saint radio network or the hosts of this show. Due to mature content, listener discretion is advised.
Another dimension. And deep into these, they're set out to destroy your life. And you can let them, or you can fight it.
She was exercised and voices came out of her that were not in any way her voice.
Black whirls of energy, so it really starts figure. The eyes really drew me in, so pitch black.
Took me and slammed me back to the bed on my back. In there, paralyzed. The chair within moved back about 5 feet in 10 minutes.
It started walking across the floor, and he said, beware.
Just remarkable. Things would fall right from the ceiling.
Going into the haunted house like the last time I did.
Demonology today.
Demonology today. Class is now in session.
Alrighty. We are live. Boy, that's confusing. Oh, I know what it is. I think it's the browser, Farah. That browser won't let me play videos through Facebook on there.
Yeah.
So
every browser in the house works except mine. How nice.
Mine doesn't either. Oh, well, this one's a different computer.
You know what? I'll cry later.
Okay. But we can, I guess, glance at the phone. If we're in the chat room, we can get feedback that everything is sounding and looking good. This is beta 3, hopefully the last beta of the programs, and we go to version 1.0.
Yes.
For you software fans out there.
Where did Deb go?
I don't know. What about the rest of the boys?
Oh, my gosh. Al's in tonight. Jennifer, Carl. Hey, Mr. Nortonism made it. Our Monkey Man, Michelle. Yeah. And we know Doodle Goo or Doodle Wumps is, somebody we know. And Jude is in.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, back in the other chat room.
Jennifer said perfect audio and video, so I think we are ready to go.
Oh, good. Mike, say a few syllables. Michael Norton, M16 Ministries, back with us tonight. Christopher Sampson.
Deb Johnson's out there in the ether somewhere.
Deb Johnson's phone is busy.
And Denise is hiding from us.
She's having the ultimate Deb moment. Oh, yeah, then I called Denise, and it just hung up on me.
Isn't that nice? I'm going to do that to her. She should have called me when I hang up on her, said she likes it.
Help me, St. Francis. Anyway, welcome one and all to Demonology today. Hey, every time we do the show, it seems like we're going to have a different arrangement and different features. And, of course, it's obvious what's different tonight, just by the first shot here.
Yes.
And it took a while to set up, let me tell you. It's our little humble and quaint studio. Tonight's not really a topic night, but it's several topics. But we're going to do our news so that you guys.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Let's explain to people. As we morph into the, the melding of the demonology into the real deals kind of thing, and grabbing our little proverbial fivesome. Or sixsome or whatever we've got going on in here.
You never know.
We're very blessed, to have a myriad of wonderful talents, knowledge and experience, with Christopher and Michael and Deb in the closet. I see you hiding from me.
Where's my phone?
As well as Denise eating your banana bread at home without me. So as we go into this journey, folks, we're going to try and keep it interesting. We're going to try and keep it topical. We're going to try and bring a variety of things that we're dealing with in daily situations and intermingle them into what we call our daily demonology lesson of the day. Because there's so many headlines that really do apply to a lot of the battles that are going on inside of all of us and our families and our communities, you name it. We're dealing with it, as well as we're just going to look at some fun stuff around the world. I mean, people are painting peanuts purple and hanging them in trees in some far off country, and we're going to find out what people in America think about that. So
I didn't get that news item or whatever that you had up, Michael. I'm sorry, but you can bring it to the table.
And the fun thing about our little group is, especially when Michael's here, Michael is he's going to be our hot topic hot button guy for the latest and greatest paranormal TV junk. So
Oh yeah, we don't watch.
we're going to
paranormal
pick
TV,
Michael's
so.
brain on a regular basis, to pull out some really cool stuff that he's seen, so we can pick it apart. Throw it on, on the lawn and just, stab at it until it jumps. That and. We're going to keep our Demonology Today minute, where you go and ask a demonologist. We're going to find great movies. So if anybody's got some fantastic movies or ideas of things they'd like us to look at, just make sure it's not like X or double R, because, we're just children. We don't want to see that. We don't want to be bothered by that.
The
We don't
bishop
want to
might be watching.
"Oh!" Yes, I don't want to have to, call my priest crying. I can't unscrub this, please. With the whole
some
one
holy water
scene
nose
thing,
drops.
I guarantee you, if the devil knows you've seen it, you're seeing it again. So, that said, shall we get on with the prayer and the dare? Shall we begin? Please.
All right. In the name of the Father, and the
Thanks.
Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Saint Michael, the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the malice and the snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, and we humbly pray. Do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the divine powers of God, cast into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who roams the world, seeking to ruin the souls. Amen.
Amen.
All right. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
All right,
Amen.
so it's 3 boys and a toy night. Let's get it rolling.
3 boys and a toy night.
I'm not your toy, though, tonight, baby.
Everybody knows who Lady Gaga
Oh, no.
is. Now, perhaps you've read this, and this is a roundtable discussion, by the way, gentlemen. So do your homework. No, it's too late for that. That it's been circulating around. I think she put it on her Twitter page or something, and Farah initially saw it, something about her praying with the rosary. And we're going to address that tonight as part of our news circle here. Anyhow, so the as you see in the picture right here, you probably can't see the smaller text here. That's actually her. What is that? That's too big to be a Twitter, right? Is that her Facebook or something?
I don't know.
Right?
I
My
couldn't
physical and mental health struggles, searching for years to get to the bottom of them. It's complicated and difficult to explain, and we are trying to figure it out. As I get stronger and I feel ready, I will tell my story in more depth, and I plan to take this on strongly. So I cannot raise awareness, but expand research for others who suffer as I do, so I can make the difference. I use the word suffer not for pity or attention, and have
no,
been
of course not.
disappointed. And have been disappointed to
Where's my
see
little violin? Snarky
people
Marky coming out.
online suggesting that I'm being dramatic. No kidding. Maybe this is up, or playing the victim to get
I
out
need
of
my
this.
flatulent stick. Or flatulent stick. Where did it go?
Probably need some wine after that one.
Okay.
Let's
enough.
see. So that's right there, and if you go down here, it's
I'm blonde. I have millions,
That's a
and I
picture
feel
of her
sorry
hair.
for one night of
It's a-
fervor. Thank you.
I've always been honest about my physical, mental health, blah 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 blah. So it's just like, for the next 60 years or more, it's like, you're going to live 60 more years? Oh, please tell me that's not so. Now check this out. It goes further and it gets scary. All right? So now we have, this isn't the first time Lady Gaga has publicly associated herself with the Catholic Church. Now down here, it's she's posing next to a Catholic priest. They don't say his name until you get to the second section down here.
What is it with people standing next to Catholic priests, including you? Is it like, does the goodness rub off on people?
No, my motives are different than Lady Gaga. Thank you, Father Duffel, for a beautiful homily, and as always at my pop's restaurant. So he gave an homily at her restaurant, at Dad's restaurant. That's weird. So I was so moved today. You said the Eucharist is not a prize for the perfect, but the food that God gives us. Blessed Sacrament Church nourishment or whatever. So she's pictured right here with Father. We don't want to spend too much time on the details, because who wants to listen to a guy on YouTube or Facebook Live read stuff on? Now here's the part that's curious. Okay, we're led to believe that she's turning to her Catholic faith. There's other article. Remember that, Farah?
No.
It was something about,
Fresh my mind.
gave some impression that she was aware that she's been a bad girl and she's turning to rosary to get this fibromyalgia off of her or something?
Oh, yeah. No, the whole article, I'm sure you guys remember this. It was posted that what she had posted was something to the extent that she's paying for joining the Illuminati. That's why she has fibromyalgia. All right. Now, of course, you guys, we can take this two ways, all right? We can say, okay, well, she got fibromyalgia because God is making her pay. Or she got fibromyalgia because, let's say, the devil wants her so bad she decided to leave that he's afflicted her. Either way, okay, what's the point? She's got fibromyalgia. Who knows? I mean, she's the only one in her heart that knows if she's sincere.
Yeah. Yeah, we had it pretty much figured out just from experience and case study and so forth that fibromyalgia seems to pop up mysteriously in people who practice the occult or they're oppressed. So, I mean, it fits in a bad way.
Yep, that's true.
So if the priest knew about that, he'd probably say, I got to go wash myself with holy water. I'll go jump in the baptismal tub, in the back, the big church vat. There's not much on there.
It's kind of true there, Ken. I've also noticed with the occult, the women show up with fibromyalgia and endometriosis.
Ooh, yeah,
well,
exactly.
There you go. See? Never talked to you about that before,
reproductive,
Mike.
It takes them out of being a woman and what?
That can bring on depression and other things. If that,
God,
if they don't want kids
extremely painful.
When they realize they can't have it, it can really
I can't even imagine.
We all know Lady Gaga and Beyonce are really, truly friends, and it has us feeling something like this. Yeah, like, oh my gosh. So it's just like on Tuesday, blah, 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 take a gram to their fans, blah, blah, blah. Well, this is the thing down here I was going to mention. I wish I had like a pointer. A gift from Queen Bee. There's that word again. That's what's that bluesy gal from England? She was calling her Queen Bee during one of the awards ceremonies.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's not Beyonce. That's Beyonce.
That's the person we're talking about. Second party.
I mean, I don't know.
Oh man, I can't remember her name. She does that really bluesy song. Man, I can't remember. But Beyonce, another, you give her a chance at the Super Bowl, she'll take the chance to promote the Illuminati, Satanism. So the Illuminati resurfaced as kind of like a poster child for, some new brand of Satanism or revisited, because even when it was popular, well, if you call it popular, back when it was first started by Adam Weishaupt, it didn't really sport the triangle so much as it is now on these street magician shirts, musicians, like Beyonce, and of course she's married to Jay-Z. Oh, Jay-Z turned down the Super Bowl this year, so we would have had like 3 years in a row of Illuminati performers. Huh? That's if anybody goes to the Super Bowl.
Basically.
So anyway, that's just now here comes the fun right here. So do we believe that? I'm gonna put this up. I don't know if you guys are gonna see it or just listen to everybody throw up.
Uh-oh. I didn't bring my party bag.
This is a picture of Lady Gaga eating a rosary. She's swallowing it.
No way. That's gross. You don't want to put that in people's minds.
All right.
Oh, that's awful.
And then, you got like an upside-down crucifix on some sort of nun's outfit,
that's so
crusader.
cool.
I don't know what that is. It's supposed
no.
Who knows?
But, I have no idea.
So,
I should find it.
So what do you think? You think she's on the up and up? Start with you, Christopher.
Well, I think my who knows the heart except for God. She may be sincere, but my thing is you cannot, as much as you try to lose yourself in power, wealth, fame, etc., your conscience cannot totally escape God. And so eventually you are going to either feel the pinch and turn around, or feel the pinch and then try to lose yourself in even more stuff. I see that all the time. I mean, if you talk specifically about drug use, that's what they do until, they've had enough and say, no, I know I'm doing what's wrong, and I just need to change. Mm-hmm. Then I said, well, that's why you're feeling things now, is because you're running from it all those years. Mm-hmm. And as far as the whole Illuminati thing, immediately when Tim was mentioned that, I was thinking about who was it, Prince Harry?
Oh, yes,
doing
Prince
the weird,
Harry,
the
that's
weird
right.
hand thing with the First Lady, and I thought, what is going on with that? I'm like, oh my gosh, suddenly she's marked. But, oh my gosh, he's marking her for, some kind of disaster. But that was just weird. So that's just my thought. You cannot run. You cannot run from God.
Yeah. Mike Norton?
It's kind of hard to tell because we see a lot of these actors came out of the closet this summer. We had Jim Carrey, professed to be a Christian, and you kind of wonder, and he goes back to something else. Justin Bieber, all these guys, right? Yeah. There was one other singer too, but time will tell. I think like kind of Chris was saying, and I've seen it before too, that we do have a Holy Spirit homing beacon in us. That we seek the spirituality.
Yes.
But a lot of times it takes people a very long time to get it right, and they may bounce into Christianity, bounce back over to New Age, and mix a middle of both, or may never get it at all until they finally get. It's kind of sad. Or time will tell where they're at with this.
Farah, what do you
All
think?
right, my take on the whole Lady Gaga thing, from behind the camera, in front of the camera, on stage, playing with the occult, not playing with the occult, and now, I'm really trying to claw, scratch, and hold on to Jesus every day. I think she's basically, it's like I was telling somebody that was, they were dating somebody that is in topless dancing, and they tried to go and be a bartender, and they went back to topless dancing. Mm-hmm. The cash is really addictive, and what is Lady Gaga getting out of this for coming out publicly and saying this? What is she getting out of this? I mean, there are, 3 points: fame, love, and money. Love obviously doesn't matter to her, so it's got to be fame and money. Now, it's like, who knows the intentions of her heart? Only God does. Mm-hmm. Yet, as I was reading from the Devout Life of Francis de Sales today at Adoration, we have to look at the fruits of anything. So if she's coming out saying, well, I'm sorry, I don't want to be with Illuminati anymore, I don't want to suck rosaries anymore, whatever it is she's saying, okay? That's just pretty disgusting to me. It's
right?
like, I wouldn't walk in your house if you're, a Buddhist or something, go, oh, let me suck on your mala beads and see if they're the flavor of the last cedar tree I licked. That's just gross. And that's just classless. So what's it getting her? It's getting her all this attention. I mean, people are talking about it, and guess what, you guys? That's what Satan wants. That's what the devil wants. They want us to pay attention. So I think the best thing we can do is just, good with the bad, with the ugly, just ignore it. We look at things like this and we say, okay, this is a good example of what we don't want to do. We don't want our children falling into, and we don't want to be fooled into believing that this is an example of someone that is absolutely turned away from all evil. Okay, what would convince me that this woman is turned away from evil? What did Jesus say? Let the dead bury their dead, give away all you have to the poor, and follow me. Not seeing that pattern yet. So, next. My take.
Yeah, since the big question is it legitimate? Is it a conversion? Is she never left the faith?
We're not God. We can't see into her heart.
Well, we know Satanists find it convenient to be Catholic because then they can steal the host using their black mass, and instead of just having to walk into anonymous churches, go up your communion and walk out with it in your hand, stick it in a handkerchief or whatever. Mm-hmm. And her act is pretty provocative. It says everything but Christian or God-fearing Jew or Muslim or anything, that has some sort of, I don't know, it just leans so much. Even Lady Gaga, you remember the modern Wicca movement created by Gerald Gardner, is his name? Mm-hmm. That they go back to this kind of medieval Middle Ages kind of merry meet and sort of some sort of like a fantasy of the Shakespearean time. So and they call each other, they nickname each other Lady this, Lady that. Right. And so that's kind of, maybe a coincidence there too. It's like that might have been her witch name, if they gave her her coven initially, and since that's kind of a ground like Freemasonry is for the men, to indoctrinate you more direct though. eventually you end up in Satanism if you really go up and you become a 6th level witch or whatever, and you end up in Satanism sooner or later. But have you guys seen any of her or read about some of the performances she did that was blatantly Satanism and some sort of...
Well, that's I want to jump in with that, Ken and Farah.
Please
If
do.
she's true Illuminati,
Yeah.
she's programmed to be duplicitous.
Exactly. Just like
To
Satanism.
go into a church and destroy it,
Yep.
as well as report to do her rituals at night.
You know, we were just discussing that today about someone that has contact with somebody that was very oppressed, possibly possessed, and with somebody that we know is attempting to help them. And you cannot, and this is something that we learned, and I'm sure everybody's heard this before, no matter how long ago somebody's been delivered from possession, or how somebody says that, you know, I'm completely healed, there's no more oppression, and you see that, you know, they're doing their best, you know, their life is totally turned around, they've totally changed. It takes 5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds for them to be tempted and to fall right back into where they were again. They can never, ever, ever be trusted completely, because they have to walk such a fine line. And as most of the exorcists say, they live some of the most holy lives, you know, that we can never imagine, because they know this.
Yeah.
They know this. They know the temptation is never going to go away. They know at any time they could slip into unconsciousness and not understand that their programming is kicked back in. So this is scary.
Yeah, and that's, you know, I mean, one, it's not going to vary from another. I mean, if you're that close to both, the music industry is just filled with, you know, it's Babylon, just like Hollywood.
Yeah.
So it's really, you can't really walk the line very good. And there's a few of them, it's like Mark Wahlberg. I don't know.
Yep.
That guy who played Sam from he's been in some Christian movies, and but you know, there's not, I can't even think of anything off the top of my head, but. It's just like you can't really. And look at Mel Gibson. It was so hard for him. He ended up in the bottle again. You know.
Exactly.
I don't know what this movie that's coming out. That it's not Passion of the Christ 2, or whatever they were going to call it. I hope they
I don't remember.
stop making that. That would be nice to see something like Axe or something. And I hate to throw the darkness at you guys again, but here it is. Perhaps you heard about this. Fright Night models made up like skeletons and vampires don nightmarish-inspired outfits as they take to the catwalk for a London Fashion Week. Well, guess where this was taking place at? They say, and if you look on there, for you viewers, it says in a Catholic church, but it turns out it was a Episcopal Catholic church or whatever, you know, because it's in England. There's not many Catholic churches around there. I guess you can say Henry VIII destroyed them all. You know. Remember that? Yeah.
Yes.
But they were just talking about hair-raising designs, you know, and it's like, and it was bizarre. It looks like worse than A Nightmare Before Christmas. It's, you know, costume seems to have a satanic influence with a punk rock twist. Well, that's what, you know, kind of wonder about the link between the two anyway.
Totally.
The models wore horns, cakes,
crazy.
and latex. I'd think on that, but now if you can just check out the catwalk at the catwalk. Dude, I think, well, it's the Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, wait a minute, it's Beetlejuice. Oh, his mother? Or
Beetlejuice is kind of cute. I mean, he was fun.
And this one here, Vampirella. That one looks like she got in a car wreck. And this one here is the Statue of Liberty, as she would look if she was gold. A lot of these look like little girls. This is she's got her hair made up into horns and looks like she's dressed as a jester. This looks like Marilyn Manson's sister.
Wow.
And this one looks like another 14-year-old girl, whatever. I don't know even what that. She's got the Egyptian eye makeup on the left eye. You always got to have it on the left. This guy looks scary, too, this punk rock guy. And, of course, here's the gal. It looks like that one from the movie with the giant Diablo horns and red outfit. Devil May Wear Prada.
Oh, yeah.
And some other goth chick. And here's a gal with actual star over her face. You know, the pointed up star for some reason, not the upside down one. Should they forget? I guess it doesn't line up very well, does it? What it's done the other way.
It's
and these
a lot of it doesn't make sense.
A lot of them are really young. So it's like, I swear these people are like maybe 15, 16, 17. And they look like that. I mean, some of them are really obvious because of their proportions.
Yes.
Like I'm not sure about this one, but I think it's all like younger teenagers. You know, but
they're very susceptible. You have to admit.
So
Very
that
susceptible.
you can see a little bit in the background in one of the pictures, some like a stained glass window. But you know, I mean, they do that stuff in the Catholic Church on purpose. You know, an old Catholic Church. Remember satanic masses? They would go gather inside of an old boarded-up Catholic church. They got closed. I mean, they always found a way in there. It's not the homeless, you know, because there's some sort of like more power in the desecration of it, you know. But how much more can we say about this, gentlemen? I don't know if you've heard or seen it. Anybody hear about this? Just to get your comments on this. We'll start with Christopher.
No, I've not heard anything about that.
Mm-hmm. I think the blatant thing about this thing was it's Catholic Church, as it said, and they didn't even tell you that it's not Roman Catholic Church.
No.
Well, you know, it's kind of like Hollywood. It's like any time, you know, for some reason, as much as they're so against Christian and Christian symbols, and especially for some reason Catholic symbols, they tend to orient when they need someone to take care of a demon in one of their films. Lo and behold, they need someone with a collar.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you can't have it both ways, guys. You either hate us or, you know, leave us alone or, you know, embrace kind of the message of what we're trying to bring.
Yeah, we're still on the topic of Hollywood somehow or another in that, but yeah, that's so true. Mike?
I was taking a look at the floor. Did you notice the floor?
I'm going to have to wait for the tile shot again.
You saw the tiles, right? You saw the tiles?
There it is. Oh, yeah, it's a checkered floor.
That's Freemasons.
Yeah, that's masonry.
There's a lot of weird occult stuff going on in the scenery here.
Oh, that's right. Maybe that is a Freemasons place, and they thought it was a Catholic church. It looks like that.
Probably. There it is, right there.
Yorkshire one. Yeah, I didn't look at
there's something whacked, yeah.
The stained glass could actually have, you know, some stained glass images of stone cutters or something, you know. That they might be covering up the throne with all. Yeah, there's a Freemason symbol kind of embedded with all this other junk.
Yeah.
The cartoony stuff. I don't know if you're looking at one of them. Yeah, I guess you are. But yeah, fashion show. Yeah, you can wear these. You can only wear these on Halloween, and they're going to ask you, what the heck are you?
Right.
Oh yeah, and then 45th prize is this gal dressed with the hair made into horns, and it's really scary. So I gave it 45th place rather than not mention it all, so she doesn't. Please don't put a spell on me. You know, don't know. Stop looking at me like that. You know.
That one girl has the Ace Ventura hair. White devil, white devil.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Kwanzaa Ucha.
Oh yeah. Wow, you got a good memory.
honey, he doesn't dance with wolves. He dances in the woods, and we don't want to know what he leaves behind.
Oh my gosh! Hey, we're doing a movie review, I think, tonight.
Dances with the Woods.
No, not on Dancing with the Wolves.
The Norton man cometh, or the Wood man goeth.
Either one.
Oh my!
I don't remember what the movie was. It's one of two. Which one did we settle on, or what the name was?
But I agree with Steve. That's not a Catholic church, no matter what the article says, because it's a Freemason symbol on the wall behind him. And it was probably just said it was a Catholic church at one time just to get attention, because being Catholic is cachet. That's stupid. And of course, okay, somebody had to remind us, what's on tomorrow night? Exorcist is back on TV.
Oh, yeah. Well, Fox
Friday night.
Fox probably promoted it. You know, that's a good point, too, that the news media is so notorious now in politics and everything else to report something and get something wrong just to put a shock value in there. And I suppose this is no exception. So, you know what? I think I've had enough of that one, definitely. This one, Farah, you can introduce as The Man Whose Biblical Doomsday. You remember that September the 23rd came and go? You don't remember that?
I have no clue.
Well, I hope you remember fast.
Well, you're going to have to plug me back into the Matrix. I have no clue what he's talking about. Do Do you guys have any
Didn't
idea?
he postpone it? He postponed it to like October now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, who does that remind us of? How many people have sipped the Kool-Aid and gotten dozens of people to like suck Kool-Aid, and what is it? They've taken how many people in suicide pacts with them because they said, today's the end of the world. Oh, no, by the way, next week. Oh, no, it's next year. And then they go.
Do you remember the guy from Family Radio? Remember about 4 years ago did this?
Really?
He predicted the end of the world and God took away his voice. Remember that?
No.
It was crazy.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That was on Family Radio?
It was Family Radio. I can't remember the guy. It was an old guy. He had a false prophecy at the end of the world.
Wow.
And then he too postponed it from September to October. And after that happened, he mysteriously fell sick and he lost his voice.
That is crazy. No, I don't remember hearing that. I mean, I remember, because you know what? It was like in Jesus' time, they had all these prophets and everything. But today, we have all these doomsday people. It doesn't matter if it's 1960, 1970, year 2000. Everybody's always saying, oh my gosh, look at the planetary alignment. And now, of course, Nibiru is about to hit us in the Cairo and all this other stuff. And the Van Halen belt is going to be singing to us by the year 2020. I mean, yeah, prophecies are a dime a dozen. When we've all been told over and over again, we're not going to know the hour, we're not going to know the time, we're just supposed to, pay attention and make sure we're ready to die at any minute. Joy, right? Whatever prophecy I think he was talking about might have had some kind of direct relevance to the... no, it wasn't the Fatima one. Ken, what prophecy are you talking about? I like how you dump something on me and then you just run away.
It is... the one that you were talking about. It was Saturday.
I'm not talking about anything.
September
I talk
the 20th.
about everything.
No, you're talking about.
It is Nibiru?
Yeah, it was Nibiru.
Well,
wasn't it?
that's what they thought.
Crash into us.
Oh, please! A planet would crash into us.
Well,
We'd
that was
probably
one
all
of the.
enjoy it.
NASA says that it's not true, but they, I don't trust NASA. They still say we went to the moon, but
thousands of little astronomers missed that one too.
Oh
Hey,
my
look at
gosh!
the planet.
I know, right? And Jennifer's like, poor Kevin, that's his birthday. Oh, I feel so bad for him. We're all going to die on Kevin's birthday. At least we'll have cake.
And now, what the funny thing is? Did you see it? It's like a. Now he's moved it up to October. The guy, it's like he changed it. I think he was talking about it was in 2016. Before that was 2015. Okay, so if it's an alignment of planets, why is it going to happen? Doesn't he have a telescope or something? Or
oh yeah.
I mean, you can probably log on to some website somewhere and look at the stars through the Hubble or something. Who knows? I think the Hubble's too busy spying on us.
I agree.
But it's
sticking their nose in our windows.
Some things are no news.
Totally.
When it relates to, let me see if there was anything else on that. His name was Dave Mead, the self-described specialist in research and investigation. Self-described. How many times we hear that one in paranormal?
Good question.
Has earned a fair amount of publicity online for predicting the catastrophic events which soon befall Earth. But it doesn't say, it became true. So he says it's something to do. NASA is making this thing you see down here in the paragraph, the third one down. He also claims that the planet called Nibiru. It's
that Star Trekian Nibiru. Yeah.
It's been debunked by NASA as a hoax.
Oh, well, you can't trust NASA. Look at who they made bounce around on the moon with sunshine on their foil plates and all those shadows. Come on.
Sunshine.
On my foil plates. Got so wiggly.
But I thought this was notable. Watch out for false prophets. Some are more annoying than others.
Well, maybe we could send them over to the old Catholic Church. They need a false prophet.
Oh my gosh, they won't. Yeah, they know it all there. So, I'm sorry.
Maybe the Archbishop of Prophecy or something. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, let's not go
Story
there.
of the century.
Okay.
I bet he's got because of that, so you can do the sensationalism on YouTube and get all these views and followers, and you lose them after the prophecy doesn't come true. You know what I mean? Kind of like Hillary did after the election. All right, it's time for another news item in 3D. Not really, but okay, here we go. You're going to get a kick out of this one, have you?
Joy. I'm going to kick you?
Bob Larson
Oh, my gosh.
has a daughter who's in Deliverance. Teen Girls. Boy, she's really like a rock star or something. And they do a lot of butt shots if you look at the video. Yep, there's another butt shot. Oh, more butt shots.
The Teenage
There's another one.
Exorcist is not the latest occult TV
There's
show,
supposed to be 3
but a
virgins
trio
here,
of
so.
real-life, all-American homeschooled
Catherine and Sienna
virgins
angle.
from Phoenix, Arizona.
Bob Larson loves
18-year-old
those
Bryn
studded
and her 2 friends, the
crosses,
Shirtbacks,
not cruises.
spend their spare time touring the world,
There's
confronting
another
the
butt
devil.
shot. Sorry.
Bob
butt
Larson, the
shot.
man behind them, is Bryn's father, a highly controversial exorcist whose hopes of becoming a celebrity televangelist were dashed after this video went viral, causing huge public outcry.
Bob Larson, first red.
I lose for the curse. Homosexuality.
Like the many questionable preachers who've come before him, he's been repeatedly accused by the media of getting rich by preying on the weak.
The ministry treated you well, financially.
Undeterred, he still maintains that half the world doesn't exist. Having groomed the girls into a team of Hollywood red demon slayers, he's relaunching his crusade with his latest enterprise.
You three seem like coached, and you don't seem like you're talking like real people.
The Exorcist claimed that the biggest causes of demonic possession are drug addiction and sexual abuse. So Bob was bringing the girls on their first overseas tour to perform exorcisms in troubled mining towns of Ukraine, where the numbers of drug addicts and abused women are among the highest in the world.
For the show is
Widespread poverty, a poor healthcare system, and common belief in the supernatural means that many people are more prone to seek cures from God rather than medicine, and Bob already has a following there. So I came along to see what happens when a media sensation meets some people who really need help, and learn what it takes to become an exorcist. The first stop on the tour was the New Generation Church in a mining town called Persia.
They can't even speak English.
People here that want to be saved.
Well, anyway. Let me tell you what there. Isn't that ridiculous? Well, gentlemen, we'll start with the comments here first off. But are you familiar with this teen trio? How many of them are Bob Larson's daughter? Proclaimed virgins. They got tight jeans and they got studded, pockets on the back of the shaped like cross, stuff like that, and and they act like rock stars. It's like watching the old Hannah Montana episodes, up there on stage. But what say you, gentlemen? Who wants to start?
I love the theatrics. They throw the Bible on top of the head, yell at them, "Come out!
Clunk.
Come out!"
That one shot looked like there was 4 guys holding the one guy, and Bob Larson lays it into his stomach with a fist. I swear, and it wasn't a Bible in his hand either. He probably just got mad at him, and he said, "Be gone, demons," when he did it. That's a good excuse when you can hit somebody when they piss you off or calling you, 4-letter word or something. You're fake. You're possessed. He's trying to shove a demon in him, All right, guys. This is just like a Bob Larson topic in itself. I don't want to go there. Well, we did now we can revisit all of our old shows, that we used to do on radio, false prophets and so forth, and
sadly, that's what a lot of people think Deliverance looks like because of that garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you gotta go out and police with churches and stuff. Like, it doesn't look like that. You don't do that. Yeah. It's pretty sad. So that's how they're labeling it and picturing it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know. That's... Oh, my gosh. I tell you what. This is... What was that, Larson? It's just crazy. It's like why are they cheering like this? Do you think they do that when there's Father 4K, coming up to speak, to everybody? I don't know. It's just nuts. It's obvious they're trying to sell the sexuality. It's not like they got low-cut blouses, but, the tight jeans and stuff. I remember when those were popular, when gals in the 70s had to put their jeans on and zip them up with the pliers. You know? I don't know. For us old folks out there, that was before your time, Chris.
But I know when
Thank God.
I know when these girls came out, because I had a team on the streets that were doing similar stuff. Nobody was interested. They wanted to learn about Bob Larson's girls. They go, we got to learn some of the girls I'm taking on the streets. They do more dark stuff than these girls do I've ever seen. You know, but nobody wanted to pay attention to it. They wanted to see the showboating with Bob Larson.
Yeah. I like that. Some of the faces and stuff. I commented on this some time ago, 2006, and not this one here, of course. I mean, but Bob Larson's antics. You know, the one gal in this one video called Driving Out the Devil. And it had some good stuff. You remember that video? We actually have that one. And,
Yep.
There's a scene in there where the gal is being interviewed, and she says, I didn't even know I was possessed. And, so you went there, and then it turns out her son's making mean faces, too, you know, and it doesn't look like anybody I've ever seen possessed. And, you know, Farah, right? Remember, we saw that. They look like bad acting.
Don't even get me started on possession.
Right? Get me started.
Possession.
What was that?
What?
Oh, I thought I dropped something. What possibly could I have?
It could have been your brain cell. Don't worry about it. I'll pick it up. I'll run with it.
You know, had these girls really worked with possession, their message would have been a lot different.
Oh, completely. Well,
they wouldn't have been doing what they're doing here and talking how they're talking yet.
No, there is no way that they could have such a glib attitude about possession.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It's far too. It's almost like they're at the carnival going, "Can I have some more pudding on my fry bread, please?" Oh, and by the way, get behind me. What's up with that?
I know.
That's not mature Christianity, shall I say? Not from what I've seen.
I think it's getting more of an epidemic because
I agree.
with the rise of narcissism and everything. I mean, if people rise to the top, I don't have any talent. They can't play the guitar or anything. Well, if they can, it could be a Christian rock band. And there's not that many contracts, I guess, available out there. You know, non-denominational, you know, or kind of offbeat religion stuff. But if you belong to a brand like Christianity or, you know, dark metal, you know, that kind of thing. But, you know, I think we're going to see more and more of these people pop up, you know, in different varieties, you know. And eventually the Antichrist will be the one that comes out. You know, so does the, what other news items do we have? Oh, my goodness. We do not have any others. What was it? Anything news items, gentlemen, before we pass by the news at all? Anything at all? Anything?
Oh, there was some really gruesome stuff.
I know it. Should I say that? Or
I'm sorry,
like
I'm a
Bishop's
gentleman.
watching?
I shouldn't say that out loud.
Should I say that one? I don't even want to put that thought into people's
I don't even
heads.
know how we can because...
Not the funeral home. Not the funeral home. Not the funeral home.
Oh! There he goes. Mike knows right away. Yeah. And the guy looked like the undead, too.
5 shades of red. I can't say it.
Can you ask John Zaffis about being a haunted collector? What does that look like?
That's going to be a haunted collector.
Oh, merciful heaven, forgive me and the pygmies. Oh, my gosh, I hope the bishop never sees this. Oh, my God.
It could have been worse. It could have been a plaque.
Oh, my gosh. You had to go
3,000
there.
plaques on the walls.
I'm such a visual. Would you stop?
All right.
Now, nobody knows what the heck we're talking about. Thank goodness.
Well, we should move along quickly.
Yes, we should move along very quickly. That poor guy can't.
All right.
Okay.
Well, that's breaking news for you.
That would have broken.
That's how we break the news, huh? Anyway, I hope you somewhat were entertained by the segment. Hey, we're the real deals. We keep it real and we keep it entertaining both. And try to keep it as short attention span as possible because we have a short attention span.
Exactly.
We're baby boomers, so we're the ones who started it.
Speak for yourself. You go baby, I go boom.
All right, well, wow, the showtime is flying. as the clock on the wall. But no, we still we're going to take our break at top of the hour. But something I need to mention real quick is this new technology. There's halfway through the last two shows, we had this kind of bump right when we went to break on the last one. If it says buffering during the show, don't leave. Stay there.
Don't believe it.
It's not over. We're going to sign out. We're going to tell you
so
it's over.
Fat lady sings
and you're going to see a bar on the bottom of the page that says, "Thank you for watching." If it bumps out and it's it looks like it's frozen and it says buffering, wait. You do it on YouTube. Sometimes you wait a couple minutes. I mean, if it's really bad. If it's a live feed, sometimes you get that. You can refresh the page, but don't leave. And sometimes I'm not going to say it's going to take as long as 5 minutes, but we're doing the whole show regardless. And Facebook has got millions of dollars. It's not like it's this cheap server. So whatever you're watching on Facebook, you're in our on our page, our public page, or you're in the Demonology Today chat room, which is at, by the way, www.demonologytoday.com. We have a chat room sitting in there, and you can watch the video if there's anything to see to right above the chat room. So you can watch and chat on your phone. Well, you're going to, I don't know, maybe on the phone. You'll have to probably watch it on Facebook and comment in the real-time comments. But thanks, everybody, for watching. So we're going to do some Ask a Demonologist style topics as we move on the show. And this one's, I think it's a cause of concern for many people. I don't know if specifically, it's not necessarily the, what's the name of that prayer set, Farah?
Which one?
The A.N.
Exilium Krishna?
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Okay.
That's one of the most powerful set of prayers I've ever prayed.
Now, I guess we could, make a pitch for it, the benefits at some point, but maybe that's not the proper time.
It's probably not the proper time right now. We're being silly, slapstick, and making fun of mortuary mishaps. Not appropriate. The big question about this, comes from many people, and in relation to this. Let me go back first telling a story, and then you gentlemen jump in anytime you feel like it. We'll have to try Deb at the top of the hour, see if we can get her in. I agree.
And about 2006, I had a possession case, and someone, since I was active online, and it was MySpace then, and IamHaunted.com, had to stay in the mainstream, of course. Someone contacted me, and they said, I have a Christian prayer group, that meets every Wednesday. There's like 20-something people. And he says, would you mind if we said prayers for your cases? And I said, oh, sure, that's great. And I mentioned, they say, you have any particular cases? I said, I'm working on this one with a guy named, T, we'll just say. And so they said some prayers. And I heard from him like 5 weeks later. This one was a nasty one, too. He was talking about, he said that everybody, when you talk to possession cases, sometimes your first part is discernment, using your logic and stuff, because if God knows you have logic, if you have the wisdom of Solomon, which, who does?
Totally.
Is that he expects you to use your brain. He's not going to have the Holy Spirit whisper in your ear, the guardian angel on everything. So you have to use your logic and diagnosing, discernment. You pray for discernment. To get to the truth as soon as possible. So we're trying to figure out, is this person, possessed, or are they nuts? Paranoid schizophrenic, functioning, not locked out from the outside world, obviously. He had a girlfriend and everything else. And so I'm still in this stage, and he's telling me some things about, like, oh, everybody tries to contact me, or I try to contact, the phones start to act up. Well, the phones acted up. It was a landline, too. And at some point, the phone started ringing. And, like on its own, like here, ring, ring, ring. Like these little sporadic things, like it's, shorting out. It wasn't the ring, clapper ring. It was an electronic one. And it was a new phone. I actually bought it because I did the radio show through it. I'd patch it into the show. It was right next to the computer. that I did for the radio show back then. If Deb was here, she would remember.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a legitimate possession case, as it turns out. And 5 weeks later, the leader of the group contacts me, and he says, have you heard of anything where would people pray for, a possessed person or something that it affects them? He said, everybody in that group is having problems. Excuse me.
Including you.
Including me. That's, 20 years later?
I'm so bad.
Yeah. They're having all these issues. Our relationships breaking up. One guy had a car wreck on the way over, and the whole team broke up. The whole prayer group, because everybody had hardships. And I said, are you praying protection prayers for yourselves? Because anything is meddling, even prayers. It's sad that it has to be that way, but you have to actually ask for protection. It's like the gal who had the TV going on and off when she was working on a Satanist case. That was another one 10 years ago, and she says, I'm in a state of grace. That's a Catholic phrase. I said, that's par zero. Your TV's going on and off, and your other, appliance that was blinking and whatever. You got to run it out of your house. By meddling, you gave it legal right. You meddle in their affairs. If you stop Guido from beating up a guy who owes him $10,000, you think he's going to leave you alone? So it's one of those things. But the topic, on this is roundtable worthy. Is the just praying. Does it or does it not affect you? And can you just pray for these people who need? Does that sound like something to float around? Speak of personal experiences, and lend your 2 cents to further it. Who shall we start with? How about my beautiful wife, Farah? Okay, Michael?
Thank you.
Toss my way. Well, let me tell you, early on when I was first learning this sort of battle stuff, I called what I stepped out of my covering. Now maybe another discussion here, where I thought I just go battle anything and there'd be no repercussions. And one of the first early cases we dealt with was voodoo, and I was praising for a woman that literally, it was levitating above a bed in St. Lucia, and a demon come torment her every night. When I went to take this thing on one night, it would turn on our fire alarms at our house, like 4 a.m.
Isn't that
and so
nice?
When I went, and when I got I used to be able to just bind the fire alarms to silence, but one night I wouldn't do it, because I knew it was demonic. I bind you to silence, shut up, and they'd go off. So one night it didn't work. I got a ladder, crawled up the ladder, turned it off manually, and something jabbed me right in my eye.
Oh my!
And Lisa and I ended up with a trip to a hospital like the next morning because I couldn't see and the eye wasn't swollen. The doctor's asking me, "What did you do to your eye? You got a 1/8 inch hole in it."
Wow!
And Lisa and I look at each other like, "Well, how do we explain this one to him?"
No kidding.
So yeah, you take this stuff on, it bites back. I do things differently now. I pray to be released after that experience. I go, God, what happened? He goes, well, you didn't talk to me first. You just went off and did it half-cocked. You want to get in a bar fight? You have a bar fight.
True. That's not always easy to measure or easy to size up from the looks either.
Yep.
Especially your first case of voodoo.
Oh, yeah. Live and learn. You're
like, oh, this is going to be an easy one. This is harmless. Yeah.
Right. What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing. Well, yeah, exactly. People don't understand sometimes until it hits them. Yeah, I think that's, why Ken brought up, the auxiliary and Christianorum prayers that are very, very intentional for exorcists, those working in deliverance, and lay people and people working with them. Because as you said, whether you're doing your best to maintain a level of intimacy and relationship with Christ, or you're the exorcist, you still have to say prayers of protection. There's no way that you will always be 100% scathe-free. Something's going to be affected at some time or another. It is what it is.
Yeah. Everybody sound out pretty much on that one?
No, Christopher hasn't had a chance to.
Oh, Christopher? You got
No. We have to pick on Christopher.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with, once you show sign of fighting back, in our case, a simple prayer, it suddenly is like, oh, well, this one's not going to just lay here and take it. Especially, when we're called to step into the fight on behalf of someone else. The whole idea of spiritual intercession and things like that. Ken's original question, prayer, we pray for the person's deliverance, we pray for our protection, we pray for all of that. Yeah, as we said, I can believe it was last week, prayer does not just wind up useless. God uses it in the best way, and it never just, whoops, that prayer doesn't, that doesn't mean anything, so we're just going to toss it aside. God hears every prayer. And so, in that case, and I was thinking, kind of odd that question kind of came up, because I've got just today a nurse that I work with call me about one of our mutual clients, and once we're done talking about them, she said, I need to talk to you anyway because I think I have something in my house.
Oh, boy.
And this is a very good Christian lady, family is, very, they really live their faith. And anyway, she starts telling me that, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I'm not quite sure what it was. The water gets turned on in the kitchen, and it scatters my makeup bag all over my dresser.
Oh, boy.
And my teenage son has a few nights periodically come into his parents' bedroom and ask to sleep in there because he's too afraid to sleep in his own bedroom.
Oh, yes.
And so now, since she just told me that today, of course, here start the prayers. But I also know that, I need to also do the prayers for protection because, as I said, that repercussion is going to come back in some way. And with me especially, I think it tends to, the enemy knows also where we're going to be wounded easily.
Yes.
And really kind of push those buttons. We talk about Irish mothers and their guilt trips. Well, you know what? The enemy really knows how to push those buttons.
True.
And with me, I think it's just, things dealing with, my teenage stepson and all that. I will tell you, recently I've had to, the past couple of months, I've shown a couple of friends and a church group a movie about Mary at one of that Medjugorje, the controversial site that's, yay or nay.
Yeah.
People either believe in or don't. But both times, within 24 hours, I have been hitting rock bottom, and I'm just now kind of recovering from it.
Wow.
Boom. I'll wake up and the whole day, the whole week will be off, just in foul mood. I can't turn my mind off.
Wow.
And I know it's the enemy.
Totally.
Because regardless of the site, I'm still showing a film about the Mother of Jesus. And so, here it goes. The fight's on. So I'm on the tail end of trying to get out of the recent hit. And it hasn't been easy, but I'm learning, I have to surround myself with the prayer, whether I feel inclined to do so or not. So that's my long answer.
Well, it's an important subject because
Very
who knew
important.
that you would just want to pray? Because there's people we consider prayer warriors and are not in the trenches. Who knew that just praying for somebody, emailing,
yeah,
that it would just have this kind of retaliatory
totally
strike? and it can just be, an oppression of a temptation level, I mean, it's not oppression officially when I say that, but it's oppressive, I guess is the word to use.
Right.
And it can be, it'll pick on, let's say your, whatever your thing is, that your weakness is. Let's say it's depression. Let's say it's a porn addiction. They'll work on that first, and that's the way to work best, of course. But, on the other side, people getting hit with the hardships and misfortunes, and maybe the relationships are breaking up because they have a problem with temper and it's swelling it, or their spouse does. Because you're praying and then your spouse gets hit, that's not uncommon. People in the household are affected, so even if you aren't. And we've been putting, some notices up again that you got to do the prayers. What prayers to do? Well, we'll get into that next. Just want to see if Farah has anything to add on that type of topic.
Can you repeat the question?
This is when we're actually talking about the prayers to do. We'll talk about what prayers to do, and that the prayers are needed. Anytime you take them on by prayer or interaction, anything to add on the last part?
Well, besides concurring with the boys here, I think the most important thing to remember is that, like Christopher was saying, sometimes this stuff can blindside you because you think you're doing a good thing. You're helping people. You're opening new doorways to friends, having somebody over that may have fallen away in their Christianity, and you want to play this wonderful, loving Jesus, Mary, and Joseph movie, and then all of a sudden, you get in a car accident. Now, it usually is, all kinds of stuff happens. Don't ever assume that it's demons. But there's just little ways that they show up. Like Christopher was saying, there was no reason for him to be in such a foul mood. There was no reason that he shouldn't be able to shake this. This was not normal. So when you have things that happen in waves, like in sets of threes, and you're noticing that your mood, your nightmares, you're obsessing about, shall we say, X-rated proclivities, you're having specific anger towards somebody for no reason, you have to step back and say, okay, where did this come from? What's going on? Take a look at the bigger picture. What did you just try to do? It's something as small as opening up to someone and sharing your own spirituality is enough for their spiritual, shall we say, generational curses and demons to come kicking you hard. They don't want you near them. And they want to make sure every door is closed and that you need to back off because you're going to be involved in your chaos and the distraction you've got going on. And the best way to handle this, I was telling my husband this a couple of days ago, and even today too, is that when things happen, you have to instantly plead the blood of Christ. You have to instantly just focus, get rid of it, rebuke it, and sometimes you have to do that for 5 or 6 minutes until it goes away. Sometimes it takes longer than that because it's a constant onslaught. It's not like somebody's like sitting across the porch from you and throwing one peanut at you. It's the one peanut that gets your attention. You're like, ow. And you're like, oh, that didn't hurt that much. And then boom, boom, boom. And you're like, ow. And then by that time, you got your hands up. Okay. And then all of a sudden, here comes a bag of peanuts. And you're like, whoa. That's what it's like. So don't stop praying. Even if you get a little bit of relief, keep the prayers up. And
trust me, that's what I've been trying to do, even though, and I tell my clients all the time, you cannot rely on your feelings.
Nope.
Even though everything in me, and I still fall into, I want to blame God, because it's like, okay, you must like seeing me unhappy.
Oh, no.
But that's even then, ever since this last hit, I've not felt an inclination to pray. I've not felt any of that joy. I've not felt God's presence, but I am staying with it because I know that is what my soul needs.
Exactly.
And that's why I try to tell everyone,
Yeah.
And there's another depth to this too. It's like these guys on the paranormal shows don't get there, the Exorcist and all this stuff. You're going through your attack and your tribulation by the things coming at you.
Yes.
But at the same time, while you're putting stuff off you, you're covering other people who are being attacked or going through something as well. So there's a greater depth to this.
It's layers. That's what I call it. It's the layers.
Yeah,
exactly.
all these details.
And, when you peel back the layers to find out what it is, boy, you've just uncovered, nests of cockroaches and mice and snakes and everything else, and it's like, ooh, you don't have enough
the
cans.
Larson girls face that. Their pretty hair and designer clothes.
Oh, that's just it. Ken and I were talking. I don't see it happening. You want to talk about running, shrieking like a couple of ninnies? Oh my! I think they would be like become Catholic in a heartbeat. Somebody take me in, please. Yeah, it wouldn't be pretty, Christopher. It wouldn't be pretty. No.
Not to backtrack,
and
but
that's why we have Ken. What do we have here?
We have a break. Oh no! We have
no. We have a question, Mr. What?
Mr. Freud's therapy ball. So let's see what Mr. Freud thinks about it through the therapy ball. And it says, I can't tilt it up, it says, "Are you a bedwetter?"
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
But now we better take our break while we still have ourselves in time.
That was just so wrong. And that was the original Dr. Freud's therapy ball too. We just pulled out. We figured if the Van Halen belt is out there having fun, we're gonna call Dr. Freud.
You'll see Dr. Freud again show up, and unfortunately, he'll have his own intro at some point.
Oh my
We're
gosh!
getting finished with the
It's
graphics.
time to walk the dogs, kitties. Get your cheese, refill your little Fresca, your Sprite, your coffee, and don't go too far away because we're going to be right back in about, 3-4 minutes, Ken?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, we're going to start a movie review and jump into some more fascinating stuff. So don't go away. The Real Deals with Demonology today, segueing right back.
Don't go away.
I already said that. Are you looking for something special to remind you what a mystical experience prayer can be? Are you looking for something beautiful to hang in your car for protection? Try Prayers by the Bead. You'll find a variety of original, one-of-a-kind Anglican prayer beads, Lutheran, Methodist, Catholic prayer beads that are made to your specification using our materials or your materials made to order in just about any design that inspires you to get prayed right up.
Farah has about over 100 in her inventory pre-made, and guys, yes, there's plenty of rosaries and designs for you, so to give to your father, for yourself, for your own prayer life.
We have a variety of exorcism medals, including the St. Benedict cross, beads, anything for your spiritual warfare needs. So, if you'd like some more information, find my page on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
www.etsy.com/shop/FarahRose.
Or on Facebook, Prayers by the Bead.
This is Kenneth Deal along with my wife Farah Rose Deal, and we're going to talk to you real quick about our books. So we have 5 books available right now and 1 on deck. The books are the Catholic Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide, and the Christian Demonologist Handbook along with the Workbook and Study Guide, and that's for all denominations. While we also have the Haunting Self-Help Guidebook.
Any and all of these books are going to help direct you to not just the natural causes, prevention, prayers to assist you, to keep you and your family protected.
Yes, real solutions done by real people in the field. And we're sharing our knowledge and information to help you help yourself, or help a friend or a client if you're in the field yourself.
www.swordsofstmichael.org or
www.catholicdemonologist.com. You can buy the books direct and get them personally signed. If you have any questions you would like to ask us, Kenneth and Farah Rose deal, it's called Ask a Demonologist, and it's on Facebook.
If you have a question and you don't want just a pat answer like wave some sage or throw some salt at it, come to us on Facebook. Ask a Demonologist is a private, secret group.
Maybe you're a learner, a student, and you just want to ask a question that you would like answered.
Your privacy, your beliefs are respected 100%, and we will do our best to answer your question with our combined over 80-plus years of experience. Myself, Farah Deal, and Kenneth Deal, Roman Catholic Demonologist, at your service. Find us on Facebook. Ask a Demonologist.
And when it is approved, it'll appear and we'll answer. We look forward to seeing you there. God bless. Well, it's rather strange, but...
As if you ever are normal.
Music copyright. We're going to have to come up with our own music. We can't play any songs that everybody loves at the break. You know, that's the drawback of video. And it's going to do it, you know, it's YouTube everywhere. So, we are back. And it's movie review time. Oh, we don't have a theme song for movie review. We had one for the news, though, as you saw.
You need to just get that ticker tape going. Tick, 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 tick.
I'm gonna do the old intro, the one with that you used to see in the cinemas.
Oh yeah.
When you used to see Killer's Elite or The Godfather or whatever, or a Bruce Lee movie.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's our movie review, Farah?
Well, our movie review is a very interesting one. We just saw this on Netflix, and even though Siskel and Ebert gave it so many thumbs down it couldn't be attached to one body. Did you welcome back Christopher?
They are there, right?
And the Norton man?
Norton.
I hope they are. Did we lose Norton? Did we lose Norton? We got Christopher. Yep, you kicked Norton out.
I did. No, he's there.
Is he there?
He went to go make a sandwich.
Oh, he went to go make a sandwich?
Yeah, see, in California, it's supper time, not lunchtime. It's supper time in California.
Gosh. Yeah, he's probably like, okay, they're going to be talking Van Halen belt and stupid movies, so.
Yeah.
This movie, go ahead, Ken. Tell him.
Tell him what? Oh my gosh.
The movie was really amazing.
The Marvel Comics one?
Yeah.
What movie was it?
Oh my God.
This is your segment. I turned you over
not.
to this. This is beta.
You're the one that signed up for it. It wasn't Twinkle Toes.
So you don't remember the name of it?
No, I forgot.
Drowning?
Yes, thank you, Christopher. At least somebody has a brain cell here. Oh my gosh.
I've never seen it. I saw it on your page. So.
Okay, good. Well, you really didn't miss anything because as far as we study movies for a couple different reasons. Because there's wonderful things that are uplifting and that have great entertainment value. This is definitely not one of those movies. This is one of those movies you study if you like serial murderers, if you want to learn more about what someone thinks about mental illness, generational curses, if you're curious about human nature, that sort of thing. The Drowning is unfortunately based on a book that was not very well flushed out. And Ken and I were talking, when you have characters that are very strong, they basically build the complete plot, storyline, beginning and end. You know exactly what's going on, but the characters are so strong they carry this. In The Drowning, there's so much allegory, there's things that don't line up, the characterizations are off, but the basic storyline, there's much to be said for a movie called, The Drowning. Why would you call it The Drowning when it starts with someone supposedly attempting to kill themselves by jumping off a bridge in front of a psychiatrist and young bride? Now, it turns out that this person was a former child that was put into juvenile home and then, jail by the psychiatrist, based on the testimony of he probably did it. So we go from bad to worse to find out that, of course, he jumped in on purpose to have the psychiatrist save him, wanted him to treat him. And the story unfolds as you look at this kid. He's not your typical child that has survived in juvenile detention from the age of 11. There's something very, very cold about his character. And it's not just, because the actors that were chosen, they did a pretty good job. The characters were just not there for them to flesh out and really sink their teeth into roles. Mm-hmm. This kid, and Christopher, I know because you treat a lot of people with challenges in drug use and I kind of call it an obsession, because when we obsess about things, we have these OCD tendencies, we have, narcissism, hiding traits of hoarding, and that sort of, over and above, beyond what is considered normal behavior. Yeah. And this kid was very intelligent, very bright, very brilliant. And he basically played the psychiatrist like a fiddle. He basically came in, pretended he needed him. The psychiatrist went, of course, very, shall we say, overly sensitive and caring toward this kid, neglecting his wife. And then the kid was literally stalking him.
Yeah, assessing or solving it.
Following his wife, making friends with his wife. And then the gentleman that treated him actually went to his supervisor and said, wow, could I have done things a little bit differently? And his supervisor very glibly says, oh, have another drink. That's the way it always is, He got what he got because he had it coming. End of story. So, the rote, tried and true, trite sayings, they didn't fit the movie. So when you look at the movie, if you decide to see the movie, there's a couple of love scenes, but they don't really show too much. They're all kind of hidden in the dark, that kind of thing. The point of the movie is that you have a juvenile that you follow as an adult through the current challenges he faces. Supposedly, he wants to get better, but he's stalking, he's hostile, he's aggressive, he's ugly, and he is trying to damage this man in ways that you are coming. He's trying to sleep with his wife. He's trying to separate the man from anything he loves. And when he manages to split the wife and the husband up in separate towns, the kid sends his girlfriend in to sleep with the husband. And of course, the husband falls for it. Now, what kind of a happily married man would jump in bed with a young girl from a juvenile detention facility because he's going and asking about another kid? Like I said, the characterizations were really bad here.
Yep.
The boy himself, when you got into the story and you found out the history of the bullying and abuse that he suffered from the father, and you start adding up the two and two, that the person wanted to write a movie that exposed some of the horrors, the brutality, that these children come out of homes broken, detached, yearning, wanting, and then they go into systems that may or may not be doing their best, and there's no connection. There's more detachment, there's more use, there's more abuse, there's bullying, and they learn to survive any way they can. And as Mr. Norton would pull out his Nortonisms and say, you have these broken fragments that really can fracture off and become oppressed, obsessed, and possessed eventually. I think this kid was probably oppressed, obsessed, and possessed by the time he was probably 7, 8 years old, especially towards the end, because I don't want to do any spoilers. It was really, really, really horrific when his father did to him. Ken, do you want to add any more to that?
This is one of those cases that people trust if their eyes and their ears, the charmer, which is also, could be a narcissistic personality. You remember the neighbors who, and I said this after we saw the movie, Ted Bundy, they would say, oh, he was the model neighbor. He always kept his lawn, pristine, and if he borrowed your mower, like the one guy lent of his mower, he brought it back and a gas tank was filled and all the grass was cleaned off of it. It's like, oh my gosh. But, he had how many bodies under his house? Sometimes the charmer is really good at manipulating people and getting them on their side so they can get anything done, because just like Hollywood, when they pick, Roman collars and stuff, no one does any consideration beyond the appearance. The eyes and the ears are fooled, and that's all they go by. Well, they sound good and they look good. And why do people do that? I mean, guys get married to absolute witches, and girls get married to, beaters and, husbands that are, addicted to porn and cheaters or whatever. And a great deal of it, the first part of it, the first 2 years, the infatuation is based on, what they do for the senses. And you don't even look at the heart until later on, or the real heart. I mean, if they get this kind of drama queen, bleeding heart moment, they judge the spirit on that. But the warning signs are usually there. Short temper. He lost his temper in there, and he started kicking stuff over when he tried to tap into his past a little bit. But it was a masterful, in a certain sense of, you weren't really sure. Just when we started to figure out, okay, maybe he was the victim. Oh, no, wait, no, he's a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He's waiting for enact revenge because he went to prison for 14 years or something like that. They took him from juvie and they put him in prison after that. It was a pretty harsh system. And, of course, he blames his psychologist, like Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense, and the guy in the underwear ends up in his bathroom. And he ends up getting shot, and he turns out to be a ghost at the end. Sorry about the spoilers there if you hadn't seen that movie by now anyway.
Exactly.
So what, But it was was that a No, that wasn't a Netflix.
That was
original.
Netflix. It wasn't an original Netflix, but like Michael said, it was on the Netflix lineup.
But I think those personality profiles are very important for the work that we do, because there's a lot of people out there really good at conveying themselves, and everybody. And you know what? I told you several years ago. I said one time or another, I think we're going to probably end up helping people with their marriages, because this stuff affects marriages so bad. The oppression and all that. And we use these comparisons because the narcissistic personality is a huge one in relationships. That this is just another example of that manipulation factor on there, and it's frustrating that people ignore it. And these people are really cocky too. The particular profile in this one.
Yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were talking. I was thinking of the nature of evil. It's that saying that no one would really in the right mind would do evil if it looked evil. They do something evil because it's under the appearance of a good. And so that's that enticement. That's that. To use the musical term, that's the hook. And it just, when I see, people that come into my office that, for one reason or another, like this young man in the movie was abused.
Yes.
I tell these clients, well, usually as a kid, the whole intent is that mom and dad give us the ingredients that we need, give us the keys that we need, give us the tools that we need as we grow, and they help put the different parts of inside of us together as it should be. So by the time we leave home, we're decent young men and women, hopefully.
Yes.
But the problem is that as we talked before, the enemy today, strikes at the strength of the family. We're gonna attack the man. Then we're gonna attack the heart of the family. We're gonna attack the woman. And in fact, I was thinking about this earlier today because of a conversation with someone. You emasculate the man.
Totally.
And then you go after the woman, and then you say, you're not really a woman unless you're pursuing a career.
Exactly.
How dare you, sit at home and think that, raising your kids and taking care of your family is all you need to do. And they humiliate, these women for seeing motherhood and being a wife and homemaker as something that is less than.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, it's just that attack. It's going after the heart of something. And when you don't have those pieces put in you by mom and dad as they should be, that's why they go after the abusive relationship, the drugs,
yes.
the games, blah, 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 just fill in the blank, really.
That's a big one. That's why it's always a lending a key that we have to consider the psychological personality when we're talking about spiritual warfare. And movies do lend all this, and that's why we brought this one up, is because the profile and everything fits some scenarios that can go really dark. And I don't know, should we reveal the ending?
I guess we can. It's, the movie is called The Drowning.
I guess at a certain point, well, one of the part of The Drowning was that he and some friends actually let some kid that they probably were annoyed by go almost to drowning before somebody finally rescued him. They just stood there and watched, and when he was a kid, and he was talking to him about that. But
oh, yes.
Near the end, just to kind of give a vague and short to the point, you were still confused up to that point. It's like, wow, it seems like he's doing really good. There was a warning from a gal in there who was working at one of the institutes and says that, you remember that, what was that quote that she said? She said something like, that you think you can help them. You remember that? You know that line?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what was that?
Well, basically, the therapist had to go and research what was going on with this kid, what had made him like it was. So he went to where he was being held at juvie and talked to people that got to know him. And one of the main workers, teachers, therapists that had been with him on an everyday occasion said that this boy was so intelligent, he was so smart, he was so brilliant, he was just a rising star.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that he did, he definitely outshone everybody. And whatever happened between him and that kid deserved to be stabbed. And the therapist just acted like, oh, really? Because he never knew that this boy had stabbed another boy in juvenile. So he's like, yeah. And she said, oh, he told you that. And he's like, yes, he did. Well, he had it coming because he pushed him and pushed him and pushed him, revealing something about the kid's character that we already knew, that he had this temper. And like I told Ken, I said, this is a classic oppression possession case with this kid. You don't take that kind of deadly action with somebody else. It just, you just don't take it that far. And for this woman, what was interesting, and this is what I actually witnessed with people that are used by narcissist type behaviors, especially malignant narcissists and oppressed people.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these people in their corner that believe they're the most wonderful people in the whole world. And there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. It's the other people around him. What she did tell the therapist, and this is the point that Ken is getting at, is that she told him, she said, when you look at this young man, you can't say that there's something really wrong with him when it's somebody else's problem. But you do have to understand that he's quite good at getting you to help him and other people around him to help him or think that they're helping him, not only to their detriment, but usually worse. And that was, and when that line came up, I said, well, Ken, that's basically, that's pretty evil.
Yeah.
You don't use people like that or let them think that they're helping you to where they hurt themselves or get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just, it's one of those, Christopher, in Maslow's pyramid of needs and motivational theories of, humanist behavior, the need to dominate and control by somebody who has completely been dominated and controlled is usually pretty typical, especially in children and adolescents. I mean, that's just classic. I think that when you look at the whole picture with the kid's dad, who said that there was something always dark in him, people like to believe that humans are created dark because of their situation. Like, there's a lack of nurturing, there's a lack of bonding, which certainly causes. I had a good friend's daughter commit suicide not too long ago because of this lack of bonding and severe sexual abuse, due to druggies and being given drugs and everything as an infant, And when you look at children like this, at what age is it, the total destruction of the psyche in the child, and when is it, like with this child, it's almost he enjoyed what he was doing and he's oppressed and possibly possessed, There's such a fine line there, and that's why we thought this movie was important to talk about. You got it, Norton? Is Norton out there anywhere?
I'm out in the Van Halen belt.
Ah! I knew he was out there, riding the rides on the Milky Way already. And do you think he brought us any of us any fry bread? I doubt it.
Nah, I didn't do it.
Not yet.
But it was good, though.
Oh, my gosh. I know. It's horrible. Okay, guys. Anything to add about the whole mental, physical, spiritual scenario with this poor kid?
No.
All right.
Okay. So we can, boom, close the door on the movie theory. Thank you.
Right. Ask a Demonologist back to it. We're talking, and we need to not leave people hanging on us. And that's what you're a prayer warrior, and you're asked to pray for a possessed person. Sometimes you don't know it was a possessed person, but you were meddling. So now Guido, the demon, who he owes money to, or legal right, is now knocking on your door and messing your life up and trying to break you up in your relationship. And what do? Well, first is recognizing that you have a situation that could warrant this instead of waiting for it to happen. It's worse if you do the preventative stuff. Remember the ounce of prevention thing? That's true with spiritual warfare too. If you can prevent it and do it initially, and instead of waiting for it to happen, you'll have to do less prayers to keep it off.
Okay.
Is there another scenario I can come up with that kind of fits that a little bit? Like the rabbit fence or something, that how hard is it to get rabbits out of the area instead of just putting up a fence? What is the damage that comes after? I think that the prayers is what we're going to point people to, not so much the theory behind it, but I think we went over that very well. I'll have one place I can say, and that's the demonologytoday.com website that many of you are in, and you have a haunting help link, and it's on the bottom of the menu that's on the upper left of the page. And you go there and you click on that, and you go to the protections page, and you will say the prayer that is in part written by Father Chad Ribbinger, the Exorcist, and he was telling a story one time in a lecture about the way he was becoming affected. It was hitting his finances, and he said, I had to draft a prayer, and I pretty much have to say it every day. It was good to hear that from a priest, because lady aren't the only victims to this. So a priest appointed by a bishop
exactly
is also, and that's good to know. So he drafted this, but I modified it because we're not priests, so we can't say, things direct. We have to put Jesus' name in between us and the enemy. Even as Franciscans, because a priest is the next level up. So nuns, monks, and so forth, will have to, do it the same way the laity do. Insert Jesus' name. We don't have that level of authority. It's called Prayer Against Oppression. It's on the Protection Prayers link after you click on Haunted Help. And the other one, of course, is Breaking Curses Prayer. Sometimes, in extreme cases, you have to treat it like it's a possession case. We know of a particular team of a priest on the East Coast, and they had a possession case, and it went really bad. The priest got sick, and it's kind of typical. But the lady sidekick, had a bunch of hardships happen. People getting in wrecks in their cars, and then we had another one, a deacon, who had all his equipment breaking down, including his dishwasher, his computer. He went out to his car, and the coil spring broke on the front of the car. He used to live in one of those areas where the heavy snow is, like in Detroit, and it punctured his front tire, so it was flat. So he had two problems there, big ones. So those are the kind of things. So sometimes you also possession cases, nasty ones like voodoo and Santeria and Satanism cases. That if you're trying to help somebody out of real Satanism, you might actually have to do them for 3 to 9 days, maybe even longer. If you treat it like a curse, breaking curses, prayers. If we're going to do a show particularly about generational curses, I guess we can do.
Oh yes, we'll work on that. We'll talk to Michael and Christopher and find out when's good for them, because I think generational curses and things that hit families, I think they're specific to specific mothers, fathers, and things that are carried over and are repeated, and we really need to be aware of them. And I think we can all put our heads together, and we got to pick a date, because I think it needs some good attention paid to it and fleshed out.
Yeah. In fact, I've got 2 good examples whenever we do.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're coming up on October. We used to make October the month where we have testimonies for people who lived in, haunted infestations or that sort of thing. And I'm not sure if we're going to carry that tradition so much as maybe how to solve them. Maybe we can have somebody who actually, is helping other people solve the problem. I don't know. But October is right on our doorstep, isn't it, Farah? It's like
totally.
Next Thursday is going to be what the first week of October, the 5th.
Already, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, you guys, we have a question from the chat room, because I think this has to deal with demonology and everything. I think we need to cover it, because a lot of people don't understand apparitions and things that sometimes we walk into or we bump into these things. And Michelle has a really good question. She'd like to know when we are either investigating or assisting, when you walk into a room that you are very, very aware there's a gray haze to the entire room, and you notice something that looks like a transparent human figure, and it seems to be blended in, but that's a shade of gray, probably a darker gray. Along with this, like, you just feel sorrow, you just feel so sad. And like Christopher was saying, sometimes these feelings aren't ours, people. They don't belong to us at all. But as she was saying, they might be sorrow or anger. And it just all of a sudden, when you walk in the room, it hits you. What kind of spirit, what do you think that could be? Christopher, you want to tackle that one first?
Yeah, the first thing that I think is this of course, I'm thinking about a conversation about the whole idea of, the souls from purgatory.
Exactly.
Is this something that we are picking up from them that, because, as Deb said multiple times, and that, as I've heard, they are not allowed to communicate verbally with us.
Not at all.
So they are communicating some way in particular ways that God allows, and so why can't we pick up on the sadness,
exactly,
the fear, or whatever it is? So yeah, that's my gut feeling, is that they're purgatory spirits.
Michael.
Well, since Chris covered the purgatory part, I'm going to throw the other side around too, where if your sensory is going off too, it could be your discernment in your body telling you, hey, something's wrong here, something does not belong here.
Yes.
You don't know if it's demonic or what it is. You just got to listen to the Holy Spirit and ask, what's going on with this room? What's happening? Do I need to expel something, or what's the next course of action? And a lot of times too, the people could fill you in. They already know something's going on. You don't have to be like the paranormal team's like, oh my God, you're a demon! It's a demon! It's always low key. It's like, do more investigating. What is this? What's here?
Good
so
point.
it's just and find out that way. But like I said, you get a lot of information alone just from your discernment. Is your head upset? Your stomach upset? When you get a headache coming in really hard and fast, it's the occult, right? Something demonic's there. Otherwise, you just got to take your time and figure it out. But I do a lot of consulting and prayer, and God does talk back to you.
Wow.
Exactly.
Ken?
What was the question again? Moment.
You can't pull a Deb on us when Deb's not even playing with us tonight. Well, the question basically was what type of spirit? How would you react? What do you think when you walk into a room and the room is apparently hazy and there appears to be some sort of human gray, slightly darker shape there, and you're just feeling all of a sudden sorrowful or angry, and you're just trying to figure out what is that? What do you think could it be?
Well, based on that description, the haze, yeah, I've seen that before. It's almost like the room's foggy, and you close your eyes and you open them up again, and because you're like, am I clearing, a haze from my eyes? But because it's not blacker than the black room, you can make some allegations. I mean, if demons can appear as an angel of light, you can't go by that all the time. You just know that good ghosts aren't going to be darker than the black room. So, I mean, the fact that it brings with it negative emotions, I think I would probably have to ask them if they are prone to that type of motion, like, or if they suffer under a depression and suddenly a spirit comes in there with really strong feelings of that, then it could be an evil spirit, minion. I mean, in some cases, the purgatory spirits are kind of like held hostage to the demons, like that. Like some people come back with coma stories, like The Cage, the movie with Jennifer Lopez. So it's hard to say, but I don't think it's. Was it the silhouette spirit, or what was the appearance of it? Did they have like an outline or anything?
No, it was just a gray spirit, and this had occurred. The question was, this had actually occurred after a man had put holy water on the bed and had the best night's sleep ever, and then during the day he was struggling with anger and anxiety. So this was after the fact of, walking in and experiencing that and, feeling the sadness and the anger. And a lot of people will think that, well, it's just a ghost. It's kind of like probably reflecting the things that you're going through. No, ghosts, they're not here to be our little playmate, play pals and say, well, I feel what you feel, and shall we play patty cakes because you're sad? No. No. Ghosts, that's out of right order. That is not what they're here for.
Yeah, that he was feeling that way beforehand. It says it was working behind the scenes, and he got to see the apparition. It means, like, sometimes your guardian angel lets you see 3 a.m. because it means something to you. I mean, why is the demon benefit that you wake up and see the clock exactly at 3 a.m., even when your clock is 5 minutes fast? And it happens the same thing every night. I think it's a call for alarm. I think that because it's significant, if it is significant another way when it's actually 3 a.m., as you know, so bless your room and say some prayers and go roll over and go back to sleep. That one sounds like a negative spirit because it sounds like it was harassing him emotionally.
Completely.
Yeah.
Sad.
Oh, by the way, Farah, I guess go ahead and read the phone, the call-in number. It's on, and I'll have to put it up on the screen. Maybe I should do that too.
You know that should be on the ticker tape, and of course I can't see the ticker tape.
Yeah, I can put the ticker tape up there.
So I think you might have to help me with that.
Okay, all right. What's the phone number? It's 417. What's the phone number on the bottom of your screen there?
On the bottom of my screen, you've got 2 stickers. I can count 1, 2.
Okay.
Let's hope I have the right one. Okay, 417-213-59 or no 5599. Is that it?
5599. Yeah.
Let's hope
I think
that's
I made
the
a
right
mistake
number.
and I wrote over it heavy.
5599 8675599.
Okay, 417.
Oh my gosh.
Doing this stuff live. I'm not in studio mode on here.
No.
Yeah, well, she wouldn't. Oh, there's somebody right there. How about that? Hold it.
All right.
Okay, hello. Welcome to the show. And what's your question or comment?
Hi, this is Rose.
Oh, hello,
hi,
darling Rose.
Hi, my darlings. I love you all.
We love you too, sweetheart. What is your question tonight?
Okay. What would all of you rather face? A demon or a person that wants you to think it's a demon, but they have a lot of issues that they don't want to face, and they are trying to convince you? What is worse to deal with?
That's a really good question, Rose. Okay, just so I make sure before we go around the table,
The question is, would you rather face a demonic presence or a person who may have a demon that is asking for help? Correct?
No, that doesn't have a demon,
Oh, that
but
doesn't have a
has
demon.
so many problems that you don't know how to deal with them.
Oh, okay. So in other words, a person that really, they're all over the map, and you're just not quite sure which direction to take with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Well, thanks for your question, my dear. We're going to let you go, and we're going to go around the table. God bless you, and we love you. Thanks for
bless you all,
calling
too.
in. Okay,
Much love.
we're diving in, so don't go nowhere, okay? We're going to hang up
Okay.
now. Smoochy
Okay.
spoochies, we love ya. Okay, who wants to jump on that one? Got a lasso, boys? Ken?
Let's see the other gentleman first. I hear
I
to chime
love
in 2 cents.
I could probably chime in. This is my daily. This is my daily trend.
From California, of course.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Because a lot of people I work with, like I said, the ones that have been fractured and broken. These are years we're working with them. Years and years and years. And it's kind of hard. You know, it's just. I would say working with the person has a lot of problems if they're willing to cooperate with you, and if they're willing to accept that Jesus is the one that's going to heal them. Then it's going to be years and years and years of seeing the miraculous.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So it's just, like I said, it's how you invest it. Like I said, there's time and invest into it. But, you know, at times I wish what the problem they had was a demon, and it's not, you know, because I can just make it go. You know, work with them a lot faster. Right? But I also think, too, that the devil's new toy now is to mess with people because we can make the demons go. But, you know, if they screw up a person, it could be decades or for life.
Good point. Good point.
Okay, you want
Christopher?
Christopher, yeah, next.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. You know, I think my preference, of course, you know, this is just from my my gut, is that, you know, I would much rather opt for the person dealing with their issues because I at least know that there's the possibility for hope and change and ultimately redemption for them out of their problems. And, you know, demon has access to countless ways to really, I mean, there's no, you know, countless ways to really screw up things. So I think I'd
Let me
much
count the
rather
ways.
take the messed up individual human that I can at least try to reach, rather than set myself up against willingly, just out of the blue against, kind of like Lorraine said, the demon is has access to countless knowledge of different things, and I'm just thinking, give me the person, and I say that because, you know, the whole possibility of redemption. Just real quick, because I've been working with a young man. I've known him probably close to 10 years now, and just today, I heard him use the language, yes, I need to do something for me. And this was a young man that has had countless issues, hating God, hating religion, blah, 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 you name it. But yet I was able to see the light with him finally after 10 years. So that's the one I would rather work with.
Yep. Amen.
Amen. That is amazing.
Let's see.
Powerful testimony.
Farah, do you want to comment on that one?
I can, but I'm not going to have the popular comment.
Okay. Do you want to wait till the end then?
No, I'll go ahead. I'll
Okay,
go ahead and
go
say
ahead.
it. The question being, you know, would you rather deal with somebody that, you know, is all over the map and, you know, you don't know what's going on? Would you rather deal with them that, you know, is having all these issues, or a demon? And personally, I'd rather deal with a demon. I know it sounds terrible, but the reason why is because of my experience I am not, as much as I can help people come from where I've come from to try and get them help, I'm still learning patience with people. And when I get really frustrated and I do the same thing, I'm human, I backslide constantly. So I want, I know that God is only going to allow the demonic to kick my rear end as hard as possible for so long because he's going to throw me right back in the ring. I'm like the perpetual fight dog that I fight no matter what's wrong, what's going on. I will get back in the ring and I will fight. Yeah, exactly. So they just keep tossing me back in. Whereas, the person that's like all over the map, it's like, okay, I gave you the map, I gave you the list, I gave you everything, and you're still standing here talking to me? Okay, I got to get back in the ring, all right? I'll see you later. So mine is not so much that I think that I can handle demons better, but I would much rather deal with them because, like I said, I have a lot of faith in my prayers, and I am much more afraid of God than I am some immortal trying to upset my world. Whereas humans, oy vey, I get so frustrated. And, I don't have a wagon big enough to drag everybody behind me.
Well, that's a good one. Mike, did you sound off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Just to
he
make
did.
sure.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah, I said this. I was somewhere speaking in 2007, and I lent a testimony for a supposedly oncoming book by Rosemary Ellen Guiley. It was going to be about shadow people, and I, experienced an encounter that I shared with her when I was 15. And I told her that I saw this form in the doorway, and my thought wasn't it was a spirit. I didn't ghosts and Mrs. Muir and 13 Ghosts. They were all, gray shades or black and white, or you know what I mean. They weren't black, silhouettes. That's a person. I thought somebody broke in and then I caught them and they were going to kill me. So I screamed and jumped out of the window. It was on the lower floor and basement. So it was easy to just dive out. And I think I realized it's like, oh man, was I dreaming that? No, it was just. But I felt kind of awkward about it. But it does come back to the reality that because I don't have a gun and I can always say Jesus' name and they run, or there's things you can do to go to bed that you don't have to pull the trigger. Saint Benedict Medal and so forth. You can keep your spirit in a state. And I told people that Ralph is a cop, Sarchi. We got friends in the military, including my brother-in-law, who was Navy SEAL. I don't know what I'd do in a foxhole if I'm being shot at.
Farah.
But,
Bring me a burger.
We walk through a house and we see a shadow walk up the wall. I'm like, throw the holy water up there. But it's because, we're armed with something. It's, what it's like? It's like Jesse Ventura and Predator, before he got mowed down. He's the one that had that giant Gatling gun, and Predator.
Yeah.
It's like having him, having Jesus with you when you walk into place. I'm there with Jesus, and he's in front of me and he's behind me, and it's not the same as having a person who breaks into your house. They didn't kill you in your sleep because you might catch them and wake up the rest of the house or set the burglar alarm off. I don't know if does that kind of go along with the question answer there, Farah?
I think so. I think that goes along with the question. That was
because
that was a pretty good question
more.
because it's really, really difficult, and I think that all of us, we have our own strengths and our weaknesses, and I know that as a flawed human being, I have to rely every minute, every hour of my day on God because I don't see myself as strong, and I don't see myself as very good at too much of anything. But I just know, like I said, I'm a fight dog. You just throw me in that ring, and I'll be snarling and biting on something, whether I actually get something or not.
I think the dog's got to go to the bath.
I think the dog's got. Speaking of dogs. Oh, come on.
Well, I was laughing. I thought my answer, I thought, at this stage of my life, and still learning all this, I think if I'm on a paranormal team, I think I'd categorize myself more as Shaggy. Yes, I will
Shaggy.
go into the haunted house, but I'd rather sit with a pizza and a sandwich. And maybe one day I'll be a Fred. I just need to get myself a nice ascot and send myself into with the rest of the Scooby-Doo team.
Yeah.
But right now I'm a Shaggy. I'll go in,
Zoinks.
but it's not my first option.
You're not a Scooby?
No,
You don't like Scooby snacks?
That's a Scooby snack.
What are Scooby snacks anyway? Chocolate? Chocolate flavored snacks that aren't chocolate. That's what dogs would like, like
Totally.
those rubber Hershey bars.
I think I'm more of the Johnny Bravo than the Shaggy.
I'm more of a Johnny Quest. Yeah, but that fits though. It does, and you know what? I understand Rose's point too. People are scary. I think demons spend a great deal of time at working. You know what? Remember that old saying that we talk about sometimes that Father, Padre Pio, Saint Pio, he would say, a sure sign that the devil is not inside you is when he's shouting and roaring at your doorstep. And and you could vary that for the house too. He's not inside your house. He's shouting and roaring at the doorstep. He works through people very well, cashiers, people that you buy online. So you have to really cover the bases outside of your house as well as in, because when there's nothing left for them to touch on the inside, they try to affect you through people, almost in a way of that movie with Denzel Washington, The Fallen, that people are so easy to manipulate, to tempt. You don't jump into them and possess them, but they do that oppressive temptation to get them to act against you, and I'm not surprised at any level that can happen. So people are pawns too easy. So, but they're flesh too, so they can stab, and even when demons don't have that permission, a lot of times a person can steal a car. They can really affect you in this physical world, and compared to what a demon can do, it's like that one priest. Who was that exorcist we were listening to that one time?
Which
and he
one?
said something like, you're the Prince of Darkness, and this is all you could do. I'm not too impressed. I don't remember who it was. Machado, I think?
I know. No, I think it might have been Max Lachado. He was really good, but yeah, it was funny. It was funny. He was. But
it's
just
true,
It's
it's kind of funny
silly.
how that works out. Well, I'm going to repeat the call. The 417-213-5599. It's on the top of our screen.
It's 10 o'clock, darling.
But we have to wind it up.
Totally wind it up.
We're going to take one last call, perhaps. Or do you? Gone. Yeah, we don't want
Or
to.
maybe Christopher or Michael have
Closing statements.
something, yes, to close, top off the hour.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I had something that I've actually kind of been thinking about, and I think because of we're getting into October, and I've already been decorating my house for Halloween.
Yeah.
Is regardless of anything, my question is, that I've been kind of pondering in my little brain is, that belief that this time of year things happen more and there's more occurrences of the paranormal and all that. In you guys' experience, is there weight behind that, or is it just any other time of the year it's the same as any other?
Wow, good question, and that's a really good observation from my experience in knowing all the holidays that are coming up for pagans, witches, Satanists.
Yep.
This is, what we're looking at, Christopher, is, from, let's see, we're in September. From about the end of September through the new year and into January, you have got some of the highest holy days of Satan, Illuminati, witchcraft, because everything they do, they want to subvert and create chaos from any of the Christian holy days. So they want to top them with blood, sacrifice, rape, pedophilia, drugs. They want to entice us into prostitution, pornography. This is when the majority of curses are laid. Earth is violated. People are having, horrific dreams because, they're being basically channeled, in their sleep. So, no, everything you're seeing and observing does ramp up. And there's, specific times of the year. I mean, you're going to look at specific times such as the moons, and this time of year, for some reason or other, it's like a bam, and then you might like get 1 or 2 days, maybe 3 or 4 days that like nothing's going on. Then it's just like there's 3 beehives open at once.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
I know, Michael, you can agree with me and elaborate on that.
How about hornets?
Yep, it's astrological, numerological,
yes.
Christian days, everything. And you look at the numerology stuff too. We don't even get. If you look back at like one of the cases I discussed too with Father Gary Thomas, because nobody else caught it. It was the Sandy Hook shootings. Remember, we have all these weird shootings where I don't understand. That boy was such a normal boy, and all of a sudden he just went berserk. And Sandy Hook happened on December 20th, if I remember right. It was like a weird a tribute to Herod and the killing of the boys before Christ was born, right before Christmas.
That's the first time I heard that.
It's so subtle, you just don't catch it.
Because you don't think, who thinks of that stuff? Who thinks of it? Exactly. Unless you're familiar with numerology and how some of this stuff works, you just don't.
Yep.
It's not part of your normal conversation or.
Yep, and Farah, you were dead on too about till after January 1st, because that's when most of the people I'm working with are ritual survivors.
Yes.
They get triggered to kill themselves for no reason at all between Christmas and New Year's.
Yep. And it usually lasts, Ken and I notice it usually lasts just past All Kings Day, about the 6th or 7th. Then it starts slowing down a little bit, and then picks up again around Easter, man.
I was going to say, they break for Easter, here it comes. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
Christmas
let's attack again.
Yeah, it's a Christian holiday.
Yep.
They jump up and down that Jesus doesn't exist, yet they observe all the holidays.
Well, not only that, but, the whole ritual fertility and everything else that was wrapped into the Easter egg hunts of Christianity. There's the tendrils of invitation and temptation there too that draws people. It's just crazy, 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 folks.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Well, it's time to wrap it up.
I think it's time to wrap it up. Michael Norton's got to jump that Van Halen belt and get his sandwich.
That's right.
And Christopher has got to put on his superhero cape and charge forward another day. And you and I have to chase Deb out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody in the chat room. And this is the place to be, the chat room. And if you can't do it, you can do it on a mobile phone, Facebook Live, reply in real time. And we'll try to multitask and try to add ourselves in at some point. Boy, it's just like I'm trying to walk and chew gum at the same time sometimes here, watching the technical aspects. I haven't even popped in the chat room, but next week, we'll have another show. What the topic will be, I don't know. Farah, do you have a coin here that we can flip? How about Freud's...
Go ask Freud's ball.
Therapy ball.
Freud's therapy
Let's see what he says now. He says, breakthrough.
Breakthrough? Is that like taking an axe and
breakthrough?
Somebody gave their mother 40 whacks?
So we're supposed to do a breakthrough program. Thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. This is the end of Beta 3, so Episode 1 starts next week.
And never forget, folks, as we always say on all of our shows, never forget the battle's already been won, and we're here to help you win it and win it right all the way around. So we want you to sleep tight tonight. Don't forget to say your prayers, rabbits.
That's right, Rabbit. Good night. God bless. Next week, same time, same channel. DemonologyToday.com, or check us out on the Kenneth and Farrow's public page, OFS.
And you can find Michael Norton here online on Facebook, or you can find him through M16 Ministries. Christopher Sampson is also here on Facebook. So if you ever want to contact any of us, please feel free to.
We're going to dump this video. If you go to the page that you're on in www.catholicdemonologist.com is where our books are at, but you'll see the video. It'll be available for playback, and we're going to put it on YouTube tomorrow. So we'll get used to the routine so we can spew it out quicker. And but hey, good night.
We're working out the kinks, so thanks for getting kinky with us tonight, folks.
All right.
Yeah, that.
Hello, this is Kenneth Deal, Demonologist, along with my wife,
Farah.
This is something we get a lot of requests for, and people just don't know how to get a hold of us directly. The biggest answer for that is by email. They would contact us at
help@catholicdemonologist.com or help@swordsofstmichael.org.
You can find us online on Facebook by looking up Kenneth Farah Deal, and we have a great many groups on there, don't we?
If you need prayer, we've got a private group called Prayer Warriors, Prayer for the Spiritually Afflicted. Also, got a fantastic Demonology Today radio show page. We have a page called Extreme Haunting.
Yes, along with one called Ghostology and Demonology, the Sandbox, where you can just toss around some theories and ideas and even ask a demonologist, which is a form, of course, that me and Farah personally answer, or contact us directly by phone at 573-990-1333, the Haunted Helpline.